Radiating feminine confidence begins with understanding that true allure isn't about being perfect. It's about being real, grounded, and completely at ease in your own skin. It's not about fitting into someone else's standard of beauty or behavior, but about fully embracing who you are and allowing that energy to speak louder than any words ever could. When you walk into a room and carry yourself with the quiet knowing that you are enough, not because someone else told you so, but because you've done the inner work to believe it, that's the kind of energy that turns heads and holds attention. Confidence doesn't start on the outside. It begins in the private moments with yourself. How you speak to yourself, how you treat yourself, how you honor your desires and set your boundaries. It's built in the choices you make daily, choosing to rest when you need to say no when something doesn't feel right, to pursue what lights you up, and to own your pleasure without shame. That inner trust radiates outwards. When a woman is deeply in touch with herself and unapologetically authentic, she becomes magnetic. Not in a loud, demanding way, but in a way that invites curiosity and devotion. A confident woman doesn't seek approval, she offers connection. She doesn't chase, she attracts. That doesn't mean she plays games or pretends to be indifferent. It means she knows that her value isn't measured by how quickly a man responds to her texts or how much attention she gets. Instead, she focuses on creating a life that excites her. She invests in herself, her growth, her joy, and that energy of self-respect naturally draws high-quality men who are looking for depth, not just surface-level attraction. Feminine confidence is soft but powerful. It allows space for vulnerability without collapsing into insecurity. It says, I can be open without losing myself. A man becomes sexually addicted not just to a woman's body, but to the way she makes him feel when he's around her. Safe, challenged, inspired, and seen, confidence communicates that you're not afraid of intimacy, of being truly known, or of asking for what you need. That kind of bold, emotional honesty is deeply arousing because it invites a man into a space where real passion can grow. The way you carry yourself physically also reflects your inner confidence. This isn't about being a certain size or wearing revealing clothes. It's about posture, presence, and how fully you inhabit your body. Do you make eye contact when you speak? Do you smile from a place of genuine warmth, or do you hide behind a mask of politeness? Do you walk like you belong in the room, like you're not apologizing for taking up space? These subtle cues speak volumes, and men, especially emotionally attuned men, notice. And her emotions, this is what they need. And expressed by believing in men who know. Emotions mean eye contact is key to settling the mysterious appeal of blankness. A woman who can laugh easily, flirt with a sparkle in her eye, and tease without trying too hard sends a message. She's in touch with her joy. That playfulness disarms men and draws them in because it signals emotional freedom. It tells him you're not trying to control the moment, you're simply enjoying it. And when a man feels that kind of freedom around you, he associates you with pleasure, lightness, and release. He starts to crave that feeling, and the source of that feeling is you. There's a sacred power in owning your own sexual energy without using it as a weapon or withholding it as a reward. Feminine confidence understands that sex is not just something you give, it's something you share. And sharing it becomes deeply meaningful when it comes from a place of alignment with who you really are. That's what turns a physical act into something unforgettable. A woman who knows how to say yes from a full body place of desire and also how to say no with grace and self-respect cultivates deep trust. And where there's trust, desire grows wild. When you radiate confidence from your core, you naturally weed out men who are only looking for something superficial. You stop attracting relationships that leave you feeling empty or insecure. Instead, you create space for a man who is emotionally mature, sexually open, and ready to experience something real with you. He won't just be addicted to your body, he'll be addicted to the light in your eyes, the warmth in your voice, the way you bring life into every room you enter. Because feminine confidence is not just a look, it's a frequency. And once you learn how to live in that frequency, you become unforgettable. Building emotional foreplay is the foundation of lasting magnetic sexual connection. It's the secret ingredient that makes intimacy unforgettable, not just a physical act, but a powerful experience that lingers in his mind and heart. Emotional foreplay begins long before any clothes come off. It starts with how you engage him emotionally, how you create a space of connection, trust, and anticipation that stirs his desire on a deeper level than simple attraction ever could. Men, just like women, crave more than just touch. They crave to feel understood, admired, and emotionally safe. When you make a man feel seen, when he senses that he can be fully himself around you without judgment, it unlocks his desire in a whole new way. He starts associating you with emotional ease and intimacy, which naturally spills into physical chemistry. It's not B.S. Burge. Building emotional foreplay starts long before any physical touch happens. It begins with the way you make someone feel when they're around you. Safe, seen, and deeply connected. For a man to crave you on a sexual level consistently, he has to be engaged emotionally. While attraction may begin with appearance, desire that lasts is rooted in how a man feels emotionally in your presence. When he feels a spark of connection that stirs more than his body, when it reaches into his heart, his mind, and his spirit, that's when the craving becomes enduring. Emotional foreplay is the art of creating intimacy through words, presence, curiosity, and vulnerability. It's about building a space where both of you can let your guards down. When you ask him questions that invite him to open up, when you actually listen, not just to respond, but to understand, you show him that you value more than the surface. That kind of attention is intoxicating. Men aren't used to being emotionally pursued or seen. When a woman gives him that rare experience of being emotionally desired, it touches him in places that physical touch alone never could. Real emotional connection isn't about fixing him, changing him, or showing off how much you understand men. It's about being present with who he is, letting him feel your warmth and emotional openness without demanding anything from him in return. When he starts to feel like he can be fully himself around you, without judgment, without performance, that's when his emotional walls begin to lower. And as those walls drop, desire begins to rise. Playfulness is a key part of emotional foreplay. Flirting isn't just physical, it's energetic. It's the way you smile when he makes you laugh, the way you playfully tease him, the lighthearted banter that builds tension without pressure. It tells him you're not just a potential partner. You're someone he can enjoy, someone who brings him emotional release from the world's expectations. That fun, engaging connection creates a rhythm between you that draws him closer without him even realizing why. Trust is another pillar of emotional foreplay. If a man is going to let himself fall into intimacy with you, not just sexually, but emotionally, he needs to feel that you're emotionally grounded, that you won't punish him for being vulnerable or use what he shares as ammunition later, that he can relax into your energy without having to protect himself. The more emotionally safe you make him feel, the more sexually drawn he will be to you. Because true desire doesn't come from tension, it comes from safety, from knowing that when he lets go, he won't fall alone. Emotional presence is also about your ability to hold space for depth without trying to rush to a solution or move into action. If he's talking about something vulnerable or personal, don't interrupt the moment with advice or judgment. Just stay with him. Let him feel your presence. Nod. Maintain eye contact. Breathe with him. Those small, often overlooked behaviors say, I see you. I'm with you. You don't have to hide. That message is rare and it's powerful. There's also a kind of mystery to emotional foreplay that keeps desire alive. It's about not putting everything on the table all at once. When you share yourself little by little, when you reveal layers of your mind and your heart over time, you give him the pleasure of discovering you. That slow unraveling creates anticipation. It keeps him wondering what you'll say next, how you'll respond, what it feels like to go deeper with you. And that anticipation builds not just curiosity, but sexual hunger. When you make emotional connection your first priority, something remarkable happens. Physical intimacy becomes more electric, more meaningful, and more addictive. You're no longer just bodies coming together. You're two energies dancing in a space of mutual appreciation and emotional intimacy. And the more a man associates you with that depth, the more he will seek you, not just out of desire, but out of emotional need. He will begin to crave not just the moments when you touch him, but the moments when you talk, when you laugh, when you sit in silence together, saying nothing but saying everything. Emotional foreplay doesn't end when the lights go off. It carries into every part of the relationship. It's in the way you text him during the day, the way you remember something small he mentioned, the way you cheer for him in private when no one's watching. These moments build a foundation of emotional connection that sex alone can't sustain. When emotional connection and physical passion come together, they create a loop, a cycle of closeness, desire, and fulfillment that makes a man not just want you, but feel deeply bonded to you. That is how emotional foreplay leads to a kind of sexual addiction, rooted in something real, something lasting, something unforgettable. Owning your sensual energy is about reclaiming the natural, powerful force that lives in your body, not for someone else, but for yourself first. It has nothing to do with trying to impress or seduce in a manipulative way. It's about being present in your body, feeling alive in your skin, and allowing your full expression to come through unapologetically. Sensuality isn't reserved for the bedroom. It's in how you walk, how you laugh, how you breathe, how you eat, how you stretch in the morning sunlight. It's the slow, deliberate embodiment of pleasure in every moment. And when a woman lives from that place, people feel it, especially men. A woman who owns her sensuality moves through the world like she belongs in it. She's not trying to perform femininity, she is femininity. She doesn't need validation because her power isn't borrowed, it's owned. She's not afraid of being seen, but she's also not desperate to be noticed. She's rooted. When she touches her hair, adjusts her clothes, or simply crosses the room, there's a presence to her, a softness and a strength. That balance pulls people in, and it invites desire without a word being spoken. Sensual energy isn't about dressing a certain way or acting provocatively. It's about your relationship with your own body. Do you enjoy your own touch? Can you feel your breath deep in your belly? Do you give yourself time to feel pleasure outside of sex, like the softness of a blanket, the aroma of your favorite meal, the beat of a song that moves your hips without permission? Sensuality is about being alive to sensation. When you live from that place, you become a walking invitation for connection, not because you're trying to get it, but because you're radiating it. Men are drawn to women who are in touch with their pleasure because that energy awakens something primal in them. It tells them that you are open, not just sexually, but energetically. That you're connected to yourself in a way that many people are not. And in a world full of women disconnected from their bodies, trying to be productive, perfect, or pleasing, your grounded sensuality becomes rare and irresistible. It feels like a breath of fresh air, and he'll want to breathe you in again and again. Part of owning your sensual energy is also being comfortable expressing desire without shame. Whether it's through a glance, a word, a touch, or even your silence, when you communicate with confidence and clarity, it becomes alluring. You don't need to chase or over-explain. You can simply allow your desire to exist, knowing that you're worthy of it. That self-assuredness sends a signal to a man's nervous system. She knows what she wants, and she's not afraid to receive it. That kind of woman makes a man want to give, not because he has to, but because he's compelled to. There's also a playfulness in sensual energy, a sense of wonder and fun. When you flirt with life, when you find joy in your own movement, in teasing moments and letting your body lead, everything becomes more engaging. You stop needing to be in your head so much and start feeling more. That shift alone can change your presence entirely. Men don't just feel your words, they feel your energy. The mind becomes a playground where desire grows stronger with every unanswered question. every hint that leaves just enough mystery to make him come back for more. One of the simplest ways to build anticipation is through subtle physical cues. You don't have to be overly forward or reveal everything at once. Sometimes the most seductive move is the one you don't make. The way you stand a little closer without touching, the way your fingers graze his arm as you walk past, the way your eyes hold his for just a beat longer than expected. These moments tell him something is happening even if no words are spoken. And because men are wired to chase and decode, that unspoken tension becomes addictive. Voice is another underestimated tool of anticipation. The tone, the softness, the playful edge in your voice when you speak can carry more weight than what you're actually saying. When you drop your tone slightly, speak a little slower, or let your voice trail off with intention, it forces him to lean in physically and emotionally. He becomes more attentive, more tuned in, more present with you. That presence is what creates connection. It makes him feel like he's being drawn into something special, something intimate that's unfolding moment by moment. Timing also plays a huge role. Anticipation is often about what you withhold, not what you give. When you're on a date and things start to feel heated, sometimes the most powerful move is to pause, change the subject, shift the energy, and then let it come back naturally. This creates contrast, and contrast is what makes the moments of intimacy feel even more powerful. When everything is intense all the time, nothing stands out. But when you know how to push and pull with your energy, when to lean in and when to hold back, it becomes a dance, a rhythm he wants to follow. Words, especially teasing or suggestive ones, can be like fuel to the fire. You don't have to be graphic or obvious. Sometimes the subtlest suggestions are the most powerful. Saying things like, "I'm not sure you could handle me," with a smile, or "I had a dream about you last night, but I'm not telling you what happened," leaves space for his mind to wander. And when a man's mind is actively involved in desire, when he's imagining all the possibilities you haven't said out loud, he starts to feel emotionally entangled in the fantasy of you even. Non-sexual moments can be used to build anticipation. The way you touch his hand when you're laughing, the way you hug him just a little longer than necessary, or the way you casually fix his collar or whisper something in his ear. All of these can create micro moments of closeness that don't necessarily lead anywhere right away. And that's the key. The lack of immediate gratification keeps him in a state of desire. He's left thinking about you long after you're gone, replaying every interaction in his head, wondering when the next moment will come and how far it will go. Creating anticipation also involves your energy when you're not physically together. The texts you send, the voice notes you leave, the way you disappear for a while and then come back with a burst of warmth. All of these reinforce that sense of unpredictability and emotional charge. He never quite knows what to expect from you, and that keeps him on his toes. It keeps the chemistry alive, because once a man feels he's figured everything out, desire can plateau, but when he feels like there's always something more to discover with you, he keeps reaching, keeps showing up, keeps trying to unlock what's next. Sexual anticipation thrives in the unknown, in the slow unraveling, in the space between words, in the glance you give him across the room that says everything and nothing at once. It's a skill, but more than that, it's a way of being present, playful, patient. When you master it, you don't need to chase attention. You become the experience he can't stop thinking about, the moment he wants to return to, the story he keeps replaying in his mind. And that kind of desire is not just addictive, it's unforgettable. Aligning sex with soul is about transforming intimacy from a purely physical act into a deeply emotional, spiritual, and energetic experience. It's stepping into a space where your body, heart, and spirit are all in agreement, where every touch, every kiss, and every connection is a reflection of something meaningful. When a woman operates from this place, she doesn't just arouse a man's body, she awakens something far deeper in him. He feels her not just on his skin, but in his core. He doesn't just desire her, he feels moved, seen, and magnetically pulled toward her in ways he can't always explain. This kind of sexual energy is rooted in self-awareness. It begins with knowing who you are, what you want, and what you're not willing to compromise. It's not about waiting for a perfect partner to come along and give you permission to feel deeply. It's about honoring your own depth first, so that when you do choose to share yourself with someone, it's from a place of alignment, not fear, not performance, not obligation. You're not offering your body in hopes of being loved. You're sharing your body as an extension of the love you already have for yourself. When sex is aligned with soul, it becomes sacred. Sacred doesn't mean stiff or overly serious. It means intentional. It means recognizing that your body is not just a tool for pleasure, but a vessel for connection, creation, and healing. It means being selective with who you allow into your space, not because you're closed, but because you understand the power of what you're offering. You begin to see that your sensuality isn't just chemistry, it's energy. And not everyone is meant to hold it in this space. Pleasure becomes multidimensional. It's no longer just about orgasm or friction. It's about presence, energy, and mutual surrender. You start paying attention to the little things, how your breath sinks, how his body responds to your touch, how your energies dance together in silence. You stop rushing. You stop needing it to look or feel a certain way. You start showing up fully, moment by moment, letting desire unfold like a slow fire. And in that slowness, in that surrender, something beautiful opens up. When you make room for soul in your sex life, vulnerability becomes a bridge instead of a wall. You're not afraid to say what you want. You're not afraid to reveal what scares you, excites you, or turns you on. You bring your emotions into the room, not to manipulate or control, but to be real. And in doing that, you create safety. You show your partner that he can bring his whole self too, that he doesn't have to perform or pretend. He can just be. And when a man feels that kind of safety with a woman, he doesn't just desire her, he reveres her. Eye contact becomes a form of worship. Touch becomes a language. Breathing together becomes a meditation. You begin to experience sex as something that doesn't just happen between two people, but something that happens through them. Like a current that runs between two souls who are willing to meet each other in truth. It's not always perfect or polished. Sometimes it's messy, raw, emotional, but it's real. And in that realness, there's a kind of ecstasy that no surface level connection can ever match. Soul-aligned sex. Also expands intimacy beyond the bedroom. It shows up in how you communicate, how you support each other, how you move through conflict, how you celebrate each other's growth. You're not just bonded by desire. You're bonded by emotional honesty and shared intention. You start to see sex not as a transaction, but as a form of energetic exchange. It becomes a way of saying, I see you, I trust you, I want to merge more deeply with you. And that desire doesn't fade with time, it deepens. The more you connect sex to your soul, the less interested you become in shallow encounters. Your body becomes more discerning, your heart becomes more attuned. You begin to recognize the difference between being wanted and being valued, between being touched and being met. And when you find someone who can meet you there, who doesn't just want to have sex with you, but wants to explore the sacred terrain of intimacy with you, you find yourself in a space that's both electrifying and nourishing. You no longer crave empty intensity. You crave meaningful fire. This kind of intimacy doesn't require perfection. It doesn't demand constant fireworks. It simply asks for presence, truth, and heart. When you bring your soul into your sensuality, your energy changes. You become magnetic, not because you're trying to attract, but because you're living in alignment. And when a man experiences that, when he feels your body and your soul moving together, he doesn't just remember you,